Well, this morning we're going to be talking about nicotinamide mononucleotide. Say that 5 times real fast.
NMN.
NMN to be short. So I'm
Just
just going to say,
enough, right?
what the heck is that?
Well, it's actually a nicotinamide compound, and that comes from your niacin. Okay, so your B vitamin niacin. That's ultimately where it starts. But NMN, ultimately what we're trying to do is increase something called NAD. Does this sound like the CIA, FBI kind of stuff? You know, you got all these 3-letter stuff.
Really?
You know. But the NAD is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and to get there, you take something called NMN to actually make the body produce more. Because here's the deal: if we don't have NAD, we don't have life. Period. I mean, it's kind of that simple. And when we start out, when we're young, our body makes a lot of NAD. But by the time we reach that midlife thing around 50-ish, they say it's dropped to about 50%. So that's why when we get older, more mature, whatever, we tend to not have all the energy, not all the zip that we had when we were, say, 20, 25, or 20. And so ultimately what we're trying to do is live longer, healthier, make things work better when we're living longer, so we've got a better quality of life as we age. And it's all about doing getting the NMN to actually get in there and do that, increase that NAD. Now that we got all the 3-letter stuff out of the way.
And then NAD increases ATP.
Among other things.
Right.
You know, a couple of things, we've talked in the past about telomeres. Remember those guys? That's been a long time ago. But we talked about telomeres. They're the little, like the cap on the end of your shoelace that kind of holds the shoelace together.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of on the end of your jeans, and it keeps your jeans from like unraveling. And as they multiply or splice and go on, they tend to shorten. And the shorter they get, the less time we've got on this earth, so to speak. So what we want to do is we want to slow that down. And NAD actually helps slow down that process. So ultimately, NAD is the key of the whole thing.
Right.
But we have to, but it takes something, because years ago, Janine and I, they came out with some NAD. You could buy this stuff in a bottle, and it was not cheap, okay? But, this is the stuff, and it really is the stuff. So we bought some, we tried it. Could not tell you took it. Absolutely nothing. And now we know, fast forward 20 years, and we see that the research tells us, you can't absorb that stuff. It just, our body just can't absorb it as NAD, or we'd be taking NAD, but you can't do it. So we have to have a precursor, something that makes our body make more NAD.
And then we even for years took some nicotinamide riboside,
right,
which was the next thing that they said. But on that one, it has to turn into NMN for it to work. And we took it for a few years, never could tell we took it.
Never could tell we took it. When you start looking at this gets into some pretty interesting biochemistry, if you will. But let's say that you're ADP, okay, and I'm NR, or the nicotinamide riboside, she's NMN. All right, if you take me, NR, the nicotinamide riboside, I have to be turned into what she is before it can help increase the NAD. So it gets complicated, but
it's a bunch of chemistry.
but
we started probably taking the NMN a few years ago, and I could tell a huge difference, even with all that I already take. I mean, we take a lot of supplements anyway, we do. So when I add something, I can't always tell I take it. Well, on that, I could. So that is one.
What was the difference that you felt?
Energy. I mean, I can't tell what my telomeres are doing, really. I can't tell. I mean, some of the things that the DNA repair that it doesn't, I mean, you don't know that it's doing that, but the energy levels are definitely something that I saw a big difference with. And so we've taken it ourselves for a few years. And so that's why we decided to do a show on it, because most people don't know what it is. And
we've never talked about this before.
There has been
doing the show.
much more research on nicotinamide riboside than NMN, because NMN is newer. Now, a lot of your research on NMN is, of course, the rat model, like everybody starts with. There has been some safety studies with humans, and definitely it's been shown to be safe.
Very safe.
So, but they, like I said, there's still a lot of research probably coming, on this, because there's so much that they've they're looking at, they've done a lot on the rats, but then, like I said, the human studies, and everywhere you read will say, well, it needs more human studies, and we agree. But one thing they have said is it is safe.
The problem with human studies is, if you take a mouse, mouse lives 24 months. So, okay, we can take a 2-year lifespan and see, can we increase that lifespan? And NMN has shown to increase the lifespan of mouse. Okay, cool. By about 25%. So they took mice that normally die at about 2 years, and they increased their lifespan by 25%. That's significant.
Yep, and they've also looked at it for insulin resistance.
Right.
And that's a big thing,
Huge.
insulin resistance and diabetes, and find that it actually helps with that. It helps some with weight loss. It helps with brain function. It helps with heart health. It helps when you start looking. But, really when you look at what it does, it affects the mitochondria. And we have had shows on the mitochondria.
Right. Shows about that one.
And aging is a slowdown of the mitochondria.
Yeah.
And so if you can have something that keeps that mitochondria from slowing down. And so that's kind of what NMN is for.
Yeah.
And really longevity is what they've studied a lot for. I mean, that's the big thing that
in the
anti-aging.
animal models, yeah.
Yeah, anti-aging.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing.
And
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing.
They've even shown it helps muscle health. I mean, when you look at it, it really has shown a lot of benefits in a lot of different areas.
Yeah.
But again, we do want to tell people it is true that there needs to be a lot more studies on it.
Is there a certain age that you should start taking that? Or
they show, the studies have shown us that the NAD starts to drop significantly by midlife, by say 50. So, the way you would look at that, you'd say somewhere around that, say 30 to 40-ish age group, that's a good time to start it. And that way you've got, kind of a leg up on getting the, stopping the process of degeneration, which is what was happening.
Right.
We're aging, our DNA is not repairing like it should, that kind of stuff. And if that DNA doesn't repair like it should, you're going to age faster, and other things are going to happen. So it's somewhere. I would say, I would have loved to have had this stuff when I was like 25. Oh yeah, I'd say, yeah, man, yeah, put me on the list, because it's good.
But the older you are, the more it's diminished.
Right.
I mean, they know that.
Pretty much everything, the older you are, this
exactly.
Yeah,
but
pretty much,
there's even been some studies I think in these studies it was more of like a 40-ish age, where for fertility. They actually showed that and it was not a high dose NMN, it was low dose for people that were a little older trying to get pregnant. So it was actually not your in this study it wasn't 20-year-olds, it was more like your,
late 30s,
geriatric
40s.
pregnancies, which actually is considered to be over 35 actually,
right.
Believe it or not. But they did show that it actually helped with fertility as well, because it helped the eggs be healthier.
Right.
So it's more about making cells healthier.
Is it difference between as far as men and women using it?
Not that I've seen.
Well, I mean, no, because we both have DNA, we both have telomeres, we both have, all that.
Exactly.
But it helps cellular function. And any time you can increase that cellular function, like the mitochondria, then okay, it's going to probably affect different parts of us differently, like in the female that's trying to get pregnant, it's going to help that reproductive system work so much better. And they showed, what's kind of interesting is there's few studies that have been done on humans. They've shown one study did like a small dose, like 250 milligrams, which is not a big dose at all. They took that dose and they increased the NAD in the bloodstream by 40%. That's significant.
Yeah, really.
Now, of course, it stopped. When you stop taking the supplement, it stops, goes back down. But
now, they have actually shown in some studies that higher doses did affect it better.
Yes, better.
And they've done some stuff with athletes and oxygen levels and things like that, and showed a big difference at the higher levels. Now, the dosing runs anywhere between 250, 300 as a very low dose to up to 1,200 milligrams. Now, a lot of the research a lot of the person out there that's actually made it very aware to a lot of people is Dr. Sinclair. He is an anti-aging.
Well, he's a geneticist, is what his thing is anti-aging. He's reached that midlife point.
So he's trying to find something to slow it down.
And he's trying to put the brakes on everything. He's trying to put the brakes on
everything. He's
everything.
at Harvard, right?
He's Harvard, yeah.
He's at Harvard, and he actually has done a lot, and he puts out a lot of information about it.
Yeah.
Now he himself takes 1,000 milligrams is what he says
Every day.
in his self with high dose resveratrol. He likes the two together for the anti-aging. Right. And we do have the high dose resveratrol as well. So there's a lot, people don't think about anti-aging until they're almost too late. So you want to start thinking about it, but it can help, and it helps with energy levels. Definitely is what most people tell me they notice, because a lot of the other stuff it does you can't feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You really can't feel.
Yeah. One of the things that and it actually helps our immune system through something. Maybe you've heard about stem cells.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay. Without enough NAD, the stem cells can't function like they're supposed to. So they get to where they just don't, they're kind of dragging their feet. And that means we can't make new cells, new stuff to fix the old stuff that's dying and going away. And that's where NAD comes in there. And of course the NMN pushes it, so that's the key. And it's very readily absorbable. I mean, the key to it is we can't do the NAD. We tried that, didn't work because you can't absorb it, but we can absorb the nicotinamide mononucleotide. Easily absorbed, so we can get it. We can take a pill. It does some good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
896-0713 or 800-349-0713. We're talking about nicotinamide mononucleotide this morning, which helps towards anti-aging and a lot of other great things. Mm-hmm. But if you have any questions regarding that or anything that you have in mind regarding your health, give us a call. It's 15 minutes after 9 o'clock right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there are some foods out there that make you get a little bit more, but it's
right.
it's
I
a
was
little
about
bit.
to ask, is there anything in our daily diet
yes.
that we can or include in our daily diet that will help out with that?
Avocados are
one of the best.
Highest.
They're about the highest.
Highest of what they do. It's like 1.1 milligram per 100 grams of avocado.
Yeah. So
that's the highest. So it's not a lot that you get.
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, it's not a lot. So taking it supplemental gives you a lot higher amount. But beef is another one, broccoli, some of the cruciferous vegetables.
Yeah.
So that's actually the foods that they say are highest. So
Pretty much any food's
that are
going to
good,
have it in it, but because again, NAD is life. That is the life molecule, if you so to speak. So pretty much anything's going to have it, but it's about can we absorb the NMN? Does that plant or whatever we eat have that? So it has to have phosphorus, it has to have that niacin. That's the basic things. It's got to have some B3, and it's got to have phosphorus, because you have to have phosphate groups. Got to have
Are there some people that can't take it? I mean, they can't absorb it?
There's some people that it gives them diarrhea. So I was going to say the side effects, there are some people, most people have very few side effects and tolerate it very well.
Yeah.
But you can't say everybody, just like anything.
Right.
I mean, you can have anything that people have a reaction to. So if somebody gets the severe diarrhea, they might not be able to tolerate it. So it's more about gut issues
Yeah.
that it causes side effect wise.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why you need a good probiotic.
And well, you just
helps.
And some people might just not tolerate it. It doesn't bother me at all, and I do take about 800 milligrams right now. So
when you
it
look
hasn't bothered me at all.
When you look at gut issues in these studies like that, the placebos are known to cause gut issues.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, give somebody a sugar pill, and somebody is going to say, "Oh, that caused me a stomach upset." Now they'll eat a cake or a cookie or a pie. That's fine, but give me that sugar pill, and boom, I'm going to. So it's a lot of it is mental. We know that. As with anything.
It's amazing how your mind can control your.
Oh, yeah.
Your mind totally controls everything.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.